An issue for all motorists, but one of particular interest to those using rural roadways is the length of time a train can block traffic. In ag communities, there may be a few options for detouring around. And joining us now is Roger McEowen. He's with the Washburn University School of Law. Roger, as always, thanks for taking the time to chat with us today. First of all, can state law regulate the length of time that a train can block the crossings?
Well, good morning, Janet. Good to be with you. Well, many states do have statutes that specify the maximum length of time that a train can block a public roadway grade crossing. The state laws do vary, but a good rule of thumb, I think, is that a blockage cannot exist for more than 20 minutes. There are many exceptions, of course, depending on the state law, and a lot of those exceptions concern such things as emergencies and when the blockage is a result of something beyond the control of the railroad. And in some states, even if they don't have a state law that addresses the issue, there might be restrictions at the local level, too.
And is the issue a matter of federal law as well?
Well, it can be, and indeed it probably is a matter of federal law. Railroads are subject to an interesting mix of federal and state law, and the question is whether federal law will preempt state law on this issue and invalidate these state restrictions.
Now, do you have any examples of the laws coming together?
Yeah, indeed. There was a recent case coming out of Kansas where there was a road blockage in the Flint Hills of Kansas, which can be a pretty remote area, and the blockage occurred for several hours, about 4 hours, and the sheriff cited the railroad for the blockage, and the railroad decided, well, they'd had enough of this state law, so they sued. And the Kansas Court of Appeals said, look, the Interstate Commerce Commission Termination Act and the Federal Railroad Safety Act preempt Kansas law. And the court said, well, even though the state had a good reason for doing this in terms of public safety and the need for emergency vehicles to get through, they said you can't just have a rule that applies specifically to a railroad like this. The federal law did preempt the state law. And so I don't know whether the issue will go on to the Kansas Supreme Court, but that's an issue states better take a look at. And when it comes to railroads, often federal law will control and not those state laws.
All right, Roger, as always, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with us today. Roger McEowen, he's with the Washburn University School of Law, joining us on the phone today from Topeka, Kansas.